The Athletics have proved to be a tougher matchup for the Rays than we initially thought.
Can't underestimate every Major League Baseball team, that's for sure.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises and
and we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, this podcast is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. In fact, speaking of YouTube, I think we're above the 300 subscriber count last I checked.
305. Thank you guys so much. Everybody who's subscribed, thank you so much. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, I think 305, that might be Wander Franco's batting average by the end of the year. Actually, I think it should or could be higher than that.
If it's above 310, I think we both get something from the prop bet.
That would be nice. So as we alluded to, the Rays lost to the Oakland Athletics last night by a score of 4-2, and the Rays are now 4-2 on the year. So given all this, I was very confident before the series that the Rays would either sweep the Athletics or win 3-4. Alas, that does not happen. So I think what this means is that the Rays have to go out and trade Kevin Kiermaier. Dumpster fire. Let's blow it all up. The Rays are 4-2. Let's end this thing.
I think what needs to happen is the fandom needs to control their emotions a little bit better, including you, Kevin.
Well, I do this all in jest. Like, I honestly, if the Rays lose 100 games, at the end of the day, I really don't care.
I mean, all I'm saying is, these are other Major League Baseball teams. Just because they might not have the flashy names or the names of the past,
yeah,
they're still going to compete, man. And yesterday and Monday and Tuesday, the Athletics competed, and that's all you can ask from your team if you're a fan of the A's, right? Just compete, go out there and show what you can do. Look, every team loses 60 games at least.
Yes.
Some are going to lose way more. I'm looking at you, Baltimore. But, I don't like going into a series saying, oh, I expect 3-4. Oh, I expect 4-4. Oh, I expect to sweep.
Unless it's the Orioles.
I mean, even if it is the Orioles, like, the Orioles went 8-11 against the Yankees. Like, and that was a good Yankee team.
Right.
So not a great Yankee team, a good Yankee team, because it won over 90 plus games. So I'm saying, no, I don't expect any time to sweep. I don't expect any time to go 3-4. Like, I think that's what gets you in trouble. And not only as a fan, but I think that also gets you in trouble as a player in the clubhouse.
So what I should do is just say the opposite, that I assume that the Rays are going to lose every series.
And no reverse psychology, but I'm just saying, hey, I hope they win the series.
Yeah.
But not to go out with the expectation like, oh, well, they are playing the Orioles and the Athletics, which means they'll start 7-0 the season.
I got to say, man, I am really, really scared of Chad Pinder. He really brings the fear.
Imagine, doesn't that sound a little bit pretentious when the Yankee fans would be like, oh, I'm really scared of Joey Wendell. Oh, I'm really scared of Andrew Kittredge. Like, oh, okay, so because you don't know him, you're not going to be...
I know Chad Pinder, but...
Yeah, I'm saying, like, okay, so he's not the guy in Sports Illustrated cover, you know?
I'm just more, I guess, upset, or I feel more for Athletics fans because of the fact that they totally fire-sailed everything. Like, all their household names are more or less gone. And let's be frank here. Frankie Montas is probably going to be gone before long, or at the trade deadline, especially after that performance last night.
Yeah, he looked crisp, man, and he had enough stamina and control to get deep into the game. That was impressive. That was a really impressive outing by Frankie Montas, and I think every Major League Baseball club that wants to compete in maybe even deep into the playoffs, of course, would love to have Frankie Montas in the rotation.
I got to say, you got to love a guy who has a line like that, 6 1/3, 1 earned run. It's just something that we know the Rays are the Rays and what they do with their pitching staff and how they like to do the bullpenning, but maybe this is me being a little bit old school, but it really is refreshing to see, man, a guy worked 6 1/3.
Yeah,
The guy worked deep into the game, somewhat deep into the game. 6 1/3 today is like working, 8
in the past,
10 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that a shame? Like, again,
Yeah.
and I do think it is a shame because aesthetically, the game of bullpenning, I love trying to be smarter than the other team. I love that the Rays do that, but aesthetically pleasing to the eye as a baseball fan, I'd want a guy who I know is going to go 8 deep. That's impressive. That's honestly, for me, that's what I prefer. But it's not that type of brand of baseball anymore, and which is okay. Baseball evolves, and I will get to that in the second segment, how baseball evolves. But I just got to say, man, that was the most anticlimactic loss that I have seen in a long while. 4-2, 9th inning, first out, second out. Then Francisco Mejía, who is the most underrated catcher in MLB, comes through just to keep the hope alive with a single to right field. And then Brandon Lowe works a nice little walk. Okay, they don't want to pitch to Brandon Lowe. Oh, but they want to pitch to Wander Franco. There's a meeting on the mound. My goodness, what's going to happen? Wander Franco is just giving Juan Soto type vibes, grabbing the chain, grabbing the pants, fixing the belt, all of these things. And then first pitch, fastball in, up, swings at it, pop up, third base, foul territory, end of game.
Yeah.
So anticlimactic. It was like building up to like great suspense, like a movie. You're like, oh my God, they're making this movie. Like, oh man, they're making a new Indiana Jones movie. And then there's monkeys, and then there's Shia LaBeouf, and then what? It sucked. It really sucked.
And then the directors of Game of Thrones came in and let's really end this in a
just chop
way.
it off. Yeah.
It
was not good.
Something tells me that going forward, Wander Franco is going to capitalize on those moments very, very, very frequently.
Yes, and it looked like it was going to be a Wander classic moment. Like, look at a 21-year-old coming in clutch, first and second. But the pitch, I understand. I mean, he was hungry.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Even a really disciplined hitter can have an at bat like that. I'm sure that if he were to do that again, he would probably take that pitch, and because he's got the discipline to know the strike zone so well that it's okay if it falls even 0-1. Although it was up, and I would like to see that pitch again.
Yeah. Bet Online. It is your number one source for all your sports betting stats and info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. Bet Online, it is your continued source for all your sport wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head over to the website today or use that mobile device of yours to learn more about the trends and action. Bet Online. It is where the game starts.
Is Shane McClanahan going to be the next Chris Archer?
In a good way or a bad way?
Well,
do you mean modern day Chris Archer of 2021?
No. I mean, like, is Shane McClanahan the replacement of what Chris Archer was when he was here, when he was opening day, when he was striking out 8-9 guys in 4 1/3, 4 2/3, but also got hit with a 3-run bomb. So he doesn't give you length. He gives you strikeouts, but he's still going to, put you in a little bit of a hole there. Is Shane McClanahan the new Chris Archer?
That's a good question. I mean, watching these first couple starts, certainly it looks that way, but we also have to remember that Shane McClanahan is only 24 years old. He's just entering his second year in the league. So I am going to give him a little bit of a leash and a reprieve and the season's so early. It's I don't want to, just like I didn't judge Tommy Romero on 1 2/3. I'm not going to necessarily blame Shane McClanahan on, what's transpired so far this season, but I almost am getting to the point where, like it was with Michael Wacha, stop throwing that cutter. I'm like, hey, Shane McClanahan, stop throwing that slider, or just go to a different grip or something.
Which, by the way, he has 2 more pitches. Why doesn't he like the curveball? Why doesn't he like the changeup? Dude, they're good pitches.
Yeah.
My God, it's so frustrating. Like, why does he insist on becoming a 2-pitch pitcher when he's got 4 at his disposal? It's the most infuriating thing to watch Shane McClanahan just keep those 2 in the back pocket. It's very. I don't.
Some of it too is that, hey, I've gotten beat on the slider. My slider's good. I don't want to get beat on the slider. I think I can get it over. I think I can get it over on a guy. It's that confidence and that pizzazz of, and also keep going to that pitch. Don't shy away from it because it's gotten bashed a couple of times. So there definitely is that balancing act. But
sure, but it does get bashed.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy because it's a 92-mile-an-hour fast slider. Like that's look,
when it stays up, I mean, and it's not sliding as much as you would think,
then it's just in a straight plane. Look, I just think that,
heck, I think it would be better off just like, instead of throwing the slider, if you're thinking about, just go back to the fastball. Just go back to the 98 fastball with that tail. Like,
I don't understand the. I mean, look, it's his stuff plus. Like Enos Harris made that category, the statistic. It's out of this world, and obviously, if you have that type of stuff, then you are able to swing and miss and get by guys. I understand that, and it's very impressive, and you can see the ceiling. But my God, I really hope it's not going to turn into a 2015 through 2018 Chris Archer, where you're going to get the strikeouts. Yeah, you're going to see the potential in every pitch, and you're like, man, those things move so crazy. Oh, the speed, all that. But at the end of the day, he's giving you 5 innings.
Not even 5.
Not even 5, and allowing 3 runs, 4 runs every time out there. I really hope that's not the case.
Do you think he will, for the rest of the season, assuming he stays healthy, that he stays in that ace role, the number 1 role, or will there be some shifting around if Shane Baz is tearing it up, if Corey Kluber is tearing it up?
I think that happens gradually within a season. You can see it, after 2010, and David Price had a really solid season, and then James Shields comes out in 2011 just balling out. There was a shift in the hierarchy of like, oh no, he is the ace of the staff. So I think that just happens organically during the season. So we'll see. I mean, again, everybody that knows baseball watches Shane McClanahan and just sees the potential of this guy being maybe even the best pitcher in MLB. Like, that's how
I think that's a little hyperbole. Really.
No, I really honestly think the talent is there. I mean, when you have a 92-mile-an-hour slider, you have a curveball above average, changeup above average, you have a triple-digit fastball. The makings of the best talent on the mound are there. Now, can he go there? That's the question. Right now, I don't think he's shown that. But like you said earlier, he's only 24 years old. Yeah,
it's a good point. I mean, what doesn't help is, walking 3 guys in 4 2/3.
Yeah, that doesn't really help.
Yeah.
I want to go across, change this topic a little bit. I want to go across the bay, the other bay, San Francisco. The San Francisco Giants were playing the Padres the other day, and they were up 9 runs, the Giants on the Padres. Then Dubon from the Giants gets a bunt. He gets on base using a bunt.
So I rarely pay attention to National League Baseball.
Yeah.
I've got to be frank. So the Giants are up 9-0, and they are bunting at 9-0.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the difference was 9. I don't think it was 9-0 or whatever, but the difference was they were up by 9 runs, and it's late in the game, 7th, 8th inning, and then he bunts for a hit.
Yeah.
Apparently, Bob Melvin and the Padres got a little bit tiffed about that. Why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Didn't Fernando Tatis have his own, hidden grand slams and when the score is?
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, I really, I mean, if I can be contrarian at some point, I would think if you're up by 9 runs, it's like, let's work on our bunting a little bit. Hey, here's an opportunity where we can see if we can put this in action. Again, if we're going to complain and bicker about our butts getting whooped in a particular game, then really
End that game.
Let's get it. We don't want to be here anymore. So walk off the field, take the L.
Yes.
Take the loss.
Yes. And not like, oh, you can't beat us by that much. Wait,
Yeah.
that guy's trying to get more hits so he can get a better paid in arbitration? Wait, that guy wants to fight for his roster spot because he's the 27th man in a 28-man roster and he wants to get on base to show what he can do? Oh, wait, no, that's not right. Oh, wait, you guys want to win and get into our bullpen because you think that that's an efficient way to win the series and use as many pitchers? Oh, wait, that's not fair. What?
This isn't beer league softball where it's, okay, hey, we're up by 10, 12. Let's go station to station. Well, even 10, 12 in adult softball, that can be cut pretty quickly. That can be cut like an NBA game, if you're down by 12 or 15. But there's real money and real circumstances at stake. And I understand there's the sportsmanship aspect. Let's save that for Little League. Let's have those conversations there. And again, if I am totally on board with clunker on Monday night, Rays Athletics, the Rays should say, we want to save our pitching staff. Great for you guys for scoring that many runs against us. We're going to take you get a designated amount of mercy rules, I guess, 1 or 2 a month, whatever it may be. That's going to be our one, and we're going to move on. So I would say to the Padres, one, be better.
Right. Yeah. Don't get beat. Don't be down by 9 runs.
Yeah. So I don't, I quite frankly don't have a problem with that. Would you rather him swing for the fences or?
Yeah. No.
So he should just stand in the box and just like take every pitch. Just turn the bat upside down, bat lefty or bat his
opposite.
Side. Like it gets ridiculous at this point.
Or what about the pitcher? What if the Padres had been up by 9? Are they going to stop throwing
what's
off speed?
Fernando Tatis going to do?
Hey guys, just fastballs, okay? I'm just going to throw fastballs. We're up by 9, so we're not going to really. No, don't worry about the curveball. Okay, I'm just going to throw fastball here. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So what? I shouldn't get on base. I shouldn't want to win at all. Yes.
Yeah. And another little thing. I know 9 runs is a lot. It is a big metric, but comebacks do happen.
Yeah.
And they can happen sizably.
And if you're a Rays fan and you're like, look, man, that's ridiculous. 9 runs, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like the game is over. Then I would say to you, wow, your memory is quite faulty.
Game 162.
Game 162, down 7 bleeping runs.
Game
162.
Yeah, game 162.
So down 7 runs in the 7th inning. So I don't want to hear about it like, oh, no, you try and you keep on trying. Yeah. You keep on trying to step on that other team's neck.
Question. Do you know were the Padres using a legit pitcher or did they have a position player on them?
I believe it was a legit pitcher. I don't think it was a position player now.
Not that it matters, but if we're at Circus Town and putting, Brett Phillips on the mound or whatever, it's like do whatever you want at that point. Like what does it matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no, it was a legit pitcher.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, me either.
At all. Again, if there's going to be this big of a stink, then do what MLB does best. They create a rule for it.
There you go.
They develop a rule for it. Let's do that. And that would also, cut down on the game times and it would make a lot of people happy, I think. I mean, I guess there's some people that, oh, do you know what inning it was by any chance?
I think it was after the 7th or 8th.
Okay. That's late enough in the game where everybody's tuned out.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like this is not like
that's where the mercy rule can't be used until like after the 6th inning, something like that.
It wasn't Brandon Belt, it wasn't Brandon Crawford, it wasn't an established guy.
It's a guy trying to make his bones.
It's a guy trying to make his bleeping name. Like, hey, look, I can be. I just don't understand how unwritten rules of baseball just go so much deeper than even some actual rules. Remember when they instituted, I think it was in 2015 or 2016, you can't have if you don't swing or you don't make contact, or I don't remember the rule, you can't step out of the box because you wanted the pace of play. 2 weeks later, everybody was stepping out of the box without even swinging at the ball. So, I mean, that was an actual rule that that disintegrated itself. And so how is it that we are taking more power to unwritten rules of baseball than actual rules in the book of baseball? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a weird time for sure. I think I'll have to check those highlights. Did the guy get on base from the bunt?
Yeah. He got a save.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then Bob Melvin apparently was like, yelling or whatever, and then
I like Bob Melvin, but that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
frankly.
Eric Hosmer was apparently like talking to the runner, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. I don't know.
We know that the Padres have their own internal issues too, and maybe some of that.
At the end of the day, Gabe Kapler, former Ray,
and probably the
fittest manager in all of
he might
sports.
be the fittest anybody in all of baseball.
Yeah. He protected his player after the game. He said that's what we, as a team, we agree that's how we're going to take every game and every series, because we want to get deep into everybody's bullpen, and that's going to allow us to be the best version of ourselves throughout the whole season.
I love it.
Love it.
Carry it over.
Yes.
He's playing for his job too.
Yes.
So what they should do is, okay, if Bob Melvin has that big of an issue with it, let's do a boxing match. Gabe Kapler, Bob Melvin. Let's get it. Let's go. No, that's interesting, man. Some controversy.
I know.
There always seems to be controversy with the Rays, data cards and shifts and platoons and everything. And now we see some stuff going on in the National League. All right, so today's game, it's an afternoon game before the Rays go up to Chicago, I believe. Josh Fleming, from what I understand, will get the nod going up against Cole Irvin.
He will indeed. And this is a guy that we said he looked really good in the weekend debut. I think it was Saturday. He pitched 3 1/3, no walks allowed, no runs allowed, 3 hits, 5K. I think we're going to see a comeback story here with both lefties, both soft contact lefties. Ryan Yarbrough and Josh Fleming, I think they're up on the up and up. You can see that their MPHs are going up. That should bode well for them. Right. I'm excited, honestly, to see this team try not to go 1-3 against the Oakland Athletics. Just like I said earlier, I'm not going to expect the sweep. I'm also not expecting for them to go 1-3 against the A's. So I really am going to be honing in on the quality of at-bats. Are they seeing their pitches? Are they taking their time? Or are they jumpy? Are they trying to get a 7-run home run each at bat with nobody on base?
Right. Yeah.
What kind of at bats are they taking today? That's honestly what I'll be looking at.
Yeah, and I'm happy for Josh Fleming. I think that based on what we saw, and I know he's maybe not quite stretched out. The Rays don't want to stretch him out. Heck, they don't want to stretch out anybody.
Yeah, I know.
Let's be honest. But just working quickly, getting the ball on the ground, keeping the defenders active and happy, and getting them involved, moving the game along. And he looked sharp in his 35 pitches that he threw in his last outing. And I agree with you. I know we've joked about Yucky Yarbs as well. I think once he gets back from that groin issue, and I know every camp story is going to be a positive camp story, but it does seem like he legitimately has added some strength and MPHs from the long toss and some guidance from Kyle Snyder. And, it could have just been a fluke year where, he did give up a high in his career of home runs, 25. So I'm curious and I'm looking forward to seeing what Yarbrough can do, because you need that guy to give you 140, 150 innings. That's what the Rays have been relying on for the last 3-4 years. And
he's been the guy. He's been the guy to pitch the most innings in the last 4 years or something like that. It's
very, very impressive. And with Josh Fleming, like the time is now for you with Luis Patino down, with relievers, but JT Chiguah down, Pete Fairbanks down, Shane Baz down, Tommy Romero not really showing up. Like, this might be your chance to step up and claim a rotation spot.
Tell me there's a guy who's been more in between, not yet, not right now, kind of, wait, no, than Josh Fleming since 2020.
Yeah.
So
was he on the playoff roster? He wasn't, right?
Good question. I think so.
Oh, man.
I don't remember. My memory is bad. I'd have to check. But I think if we look at the opposite, lefty Cole Irvin, he pitched against Philadelphia in the opening weekend, 5 1/3, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. So not pretty, not horrible. I think he, probably did his job getting stretched out to the 6th inning. If he's a lefty, I'm expecting 2 things to happen. Number one, if he's a lefty, I want the righties, of course, with the lineup. But you also have to take into account the fact that Josh Fleming is a contact pitcher. So I want good fielders out there. So even though he's a lefty, I would have to go in the outfield. Randy Arozarena, KK, and Manny Margot. I think that's the way to do it. And on third base, I'd actually want Taylor Walls to be at third.
Yeah, you want your best. I would think you would want, for the most part, your best combination of defensive players.
Yeah,
you can work it that way.
Taylor Walls at third. That means Yandy goes to first, righty against lefty. I like that. Then, of course, you're going to have a couple lefties in Brandon Lowe. And who would DH? Maybe would you give that nod to Josh Lowe, try to get him a little bit of a look against lefties?
Yeah, he's getting action against lefties already. So if you want him to be that everyday player and see what he can handle, sure, go for it.
Yeah, so I think that would be a nice looking setup for today's matchup. So hopefully Kevin Cash listens to the episode.
Yeah, so what we'll do is Rays just let Kevin Cash step down and Ulises will take over and he'll run the team and manage things. And he doesn't require as much of a salary as Kevin Cash. He'll take about 1/10 of it, I think. And
what would be 1/10 of Kevin Cash's salary? What does he earn?
6 figures. He makes at least $1 million per year. So
right? Yeah, I would think he makes $1 million.
Something tells me that if the Rays offer you 1/10 to take his job, you would take that job.
10,000, no dental. What?
Yeah.
What is this?
I think they've got great health insurance and benefits as well with all that. So, question: do the Rays split the series?
I certainly hope that they do. Yeah, I'm going for a heck yeah. They need to. You can't drop 3 out of 4 against the A's, especially with a clunker, and especially like getting.
This is a team that we don't know if they're going to win 70 games.
Right. So again, don't lose 3 out of 4 against the A's. No, you can't.
That'd be nice. All right. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Friday.